Hello, welcome back to the channel. It is Dan, Nocturne Knives. Today we're going to be doing a disassembly and a little upgrade of this Sharp by Design Mini Tempest. I just got this in today and it's running great, awesome knife. I just want to see what's going on the inside and then if we can make it any better. And also, the centering is just slightly off. I don't know if you'll be able to tell. It's just like a couple thousandths of an inch off to the show side. So I want to see if some different bearings will change that. I have these Skiff bearings. I'm pretty sure this is the right size. This is was the correct size for my Micro Evo Typhoon. So let's see if it works here. Before we get into that, don't forget to go hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you like knives, sharpening content, all that sort of stuff. I would really appreciate it. And let's get into it. So all of these Sharp by Design Rayot collaborations are super easy to take apart. 2 screws, clip screw, pivot screw. They are both T8. So let's get the clip off, and that's pretty tight. I'm going to get something with some more torque. There we go. A little extra torque and it came out no problem. And I'll break the pivot free. There we go. Alright, so there's something you want to be careful of. These pivots and the body screw are in there pretty tight. It feels like a lot of thread locker, or at least some of a high strength. I say that, but there's actually not much on the threads. They look pretty clean. So I don't know why it was so tight. But anyway, you just want to get a driver that you can put a lot of pressure into this way so your bit doesn't spin out. And you also want to have really high quality bits. These are Weehaw bits. I have a set, 2 each from T6 to T20. Yeah, T20. And those are super high quality. They have served me quite well. And they're really not expensive at all. So here's our clip off. Pivot screw out. And now we're going to take the blade out to 90 degrees. And there we go. It's popping itself apart. This is being a little stubborn back here. You can tell the fitment is really tight because it doesn't want to come apart. Here we go. Okay, now I can get the blade off. And there we go. Number 754. I guess that's which number this is off the assembly line, and it's cool that they mark both sides of the handle so they can get them mated really well together. That is nice. I appreciate that. So, gonna get cloth. This is just a little gun cleaning patch. You can get a shit ton of these on Amazon for like 10 or 15 bucks, and they work perfectly for cleaning knives. Just gonna get in there, clean off this stainless steel bearing race. It's nice that they have that. Definitely appreciate it. I'll clean off the Detent tab. This is a cool opportunity to see Brian Nadeau's Detent system. I'll zoom in here. So he uses this tab here that is integral to the lock bar insert. You can see this stainless steel, the titanium frame, and then this stainless steel insert that actually interfaces with the blade. And then this tab right here is what creates the detent. There's no traditional detent ball. It's just that tab. Damn it, get off there. That is machined out of this steel insert. You can see the tip is even polished up. That's nice. It's good they do that. So that's what actually forms the detent, and it has an integrated ramp in it. Now let's see. This is pretty clean overall. Well, that's weird. Look at that. Look at that big ass burr right there. How odd. Well, that's something that should have been cleaned up. Oof. Here, I'll take care of that and I'll be right back. All right. I tapped it with my fingernail and I think it's actually just a little piece of glue from this inlay. Yeah, it's just a little piece of glue. It came off with just a very light scratch of my fingernail. So that's fine. All right, let's get our bearing out here. Take the pivot out. Just going to clean that with our alcohol. And I'll go ahead and clean off this screw. If there's any junk on the threads, that will get in the way of the thread locker, the Loctite that I'm going to put on here. Yeah, you can see a little bit came off. And same on this body screw. There we go. Here are the bearings. I can't tell. These might be ceramic. I think they are ceramic, actually, which is cool. That's a good touch. And I'm going to replace them with ceramic bearings, but the ones that I'm putting in are some upgraded Skiff bearings. They have more bearings in a higher number of ball bearings in them. I'll show you your direct comparison. You can see the Skiffs have, I think, one more bearing. Maybe it's two more. These original ones have 9. Yeah, the original ones have 9, and the Skiffs have 11 by my count. Yeah, ball count is 11, so 2 more ball bearings is going to be a fair amount more lateral support for the blade. And it'll mean I don't have to crank the pivot quite as tight because of the increased support. So get these out, clean them off, clean off the blade. Here is where the detent interacts with the tang of the blade. I'll zoom in. Right there. You can see that shelf, and that's what the detent sinks into. Like that. Detent sinks in. Might be hard to see. So instead of a traditional detent hole, there's just that pocket milled out. That's quite cool. And we'll clean off this bearing race. Okay, now we'll put this back together. We're going to go from the show side, put the pivot in. You can see here the pivot has a milled out pattern right there. You can see a little square rounded corners, and that corresponds to the pattern in here. So the show side pivot is captive. That's very nice. Get that locked in. Now we're going to drop our bearing in, and then take some KPL and just put some tiny little dots on here, and going to put just a little bit on the pivot. Tiny dot. Okay, that's on. Now, 2 little dots there. Put our other bearing on. Now, before we put the lock side on, I want to take some KPL heavy and just put a drop right here. Just right onto the detent tab thing. And now close that to halfway. Put the show side scale on. Make sure everything is nice and lined up. There we go. Pops on, pops on. Open it up. There we go. Okay. Now we're going to grab our Loctite. This is my favorite Loctite format, the tube. I think it makes it much, much easier to apply. I like to take the screw into the driver and you just drag it through the Loctite. Looking for that much. Really not a lot. You're coating just one kind of quadrant of the threads. And now we're not going to tighten this all the way. Going to get it most of the way. And now we'll go ahead and put in the body screw. Same thing, just a little bit of Loctite. You don't need a lot. And I should probably put the clip on first. There we go. Put our clip on. Body screw goes in there. Now, I want to disengage the lock before I tighten this down all the way. I'll put the blade at 90 degrees, lock that down, and now the pivot. Now with the pivot, I'm going to go to my higher torque driver so I have more control. You just want to slowly bring it to tight. You don't want to crank on this, because if you crank too hard, your bearings can put indentations into your blade or in the bearing races. So you just want to edge it up to where it needs to be. You can see blade is way off center, so we have a little ways to go. What you should see is that blade will come into center as I turn. Almost got it. There we go. Blade is coming to center. I think it's still a little bit loose. So just a little more tension. Yeah, definitely still loose. All right, no wiggle here. Tight there. Falling shut really nicely. Let's take a look at our centering, see what happened. And it actually does not look like it's changed at all. I see no difference in the centering. It might still be a little loose. Let's give it just a little more tension. Well, the action has improved. It's still slightly off to that show side. I'm going to try something here. I'm going to loosen the body screw. And now I'm going to push the blade over to the lock side, tighten the body screw down, and we'll see what happens. All right, it's just like a thousandth, like 1,000th off. I'm going to do the same thing and see if we can make it, because that improved it. Loosening this screw, pushing it over, improved it by about 1 thou. I want to see if we can do that one more time and get it perfect. Here's what we're looking at. And that, I don't know, it's still off 1 thou. All right, I ended up taking this apart and switching the bearings one side to the other. And I think that has gotten us pretty much squared away. It might be like 1 thou, half 1 thou, to the show side, but it is so close. Like, I'm happy with that. I'll take it. That's what we're looking like. Okay, and that is how you disassemble and potentially upgrade the bearings on a Sharp by Design Mini Tempest, and this will go for any Sharp by Design Rayot collaboration. They're all built the same way, pivot plus body screw, and that's it. I'm pretty sure they're all like this with the integrated backspacer. They are incredibly simple and easy to take apart, really nice to service. And the hardware is all really high quality. It's good stuff. These knives are a pleasure to take care of, and our action has gotten better. The lightest of shakes, and it just glides closed. Boom. Just like that. If you haven't, go check out my unboxing and first impressions of this knife. I'll link that right up in the top right. And I think that is all we have for today. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, go drop a like, go subscribe if you like knives, sharpening content, that sorts of stuff. And I will catch you on the next one.